Welcome into 11 Personnel, presented by Monticello Bank. They've been in business for a long time because they know what they're doing. All right, they got it figured out there. You can't be in business for more than 125 years if you don't know your way around the numbers. And at Monticello Bank, they're going to put the numbers on your side to get you the best rate possible. Unlock that equity in your home with a little HELOC special, or, maybe shop around for some mortgage rates, whatever it may be. Bank local with Monticello Bank. It's where people matter. It's where they mattered for a very long time. There's one in a community near you or conveniently located online at mbcbank.com. Monticello Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. I'm Nick Roush. Adam Luckett is a little late. We tried doing the thing where we just wait till the availability report gets out, but unfortunately, today it's a rather lengthy one. Maybe Mr. Pete can pull it up for us. I could have easily given him the heads up before I said this, but it is lengthier than normal. I think for Kentucky fans, the most important addition to it is just that Seth McGowan is listed as questionable. McGowan's undoubtedly Kentucky's most explosive and reliable athlete out there. Outstanding running back who was rushed to the hospital during the last game, hopped in a go-kart, and rode on over to Albert Chandler Hospital. They cleared him, and he came back into the game, which makes me think that he will ultimately be fine. He spoke with us yesterday, told that story. Stoops expects him back, but he was listed as questionable. The other two names on there three on there listed as probable, where you expect them to play, but they're contributors. Your top two tight ends, Willie Rodriguez and Josh Caddis, along with Khalil Saunders, you're starting, three tech. Yeah, defense tackle. So a lot more folks than we're used to having on the injury report, Mr. Luckett.
Yeah, I think seeing Seth McGowan, obviously, Nick, is the big development, but that's expected, I guess, after someone goes to the hospital on game day. Mm-hmm. He was out there running around at practice today. I'm not sure. I think, there might be some low management going on this week with him in practice. Yeah. It is NBA season. So I saw I think it was Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks, low management game one, which I thought was just hilarious. But
that's Kentucky's finest.
Yeah, I thought but yeah, I think I would expect McGowan out there. To me, the big development one, like Troy Stellato, I think it's third game he's missed. Specifically, do you want to run Ty Bryant back out there after the muffs, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of muffs at this point. Solato's looked comfortable back there. Well, you're not going to have him now for that. So, how do they handle punt return? Now, hopefully they force some punts, so that potentially could matter. But yeah, I would say McGowan, and then obviously Waller's probably trending to being out. But then Tennessee, their top linebacker, Aaron Carter, who is the guy Stoops talked about this week. He's questionable. Their leading tackler. So that's going to be one I think to monitor.
The SEC's leading tackler. He's got 5 points. Okay. CJ Allen, averaging 8.7 a game. So pretty good. Pretty good. That would be a significant development, particularly when we dive deep into the Vols. It's surprising how much they suck at playing defense, because I know they lost Pierce and one other guy to the draft, and his name's escaping me.
Omar Norman Lott, who actually just tore his ACLs out for the year for the Chiefs, but I think he was having actually a good season.
Sounds like a law firm, if you ask me.
He was the guy who pushed Brock Vandagriff, if everyone remembers, last year on the sideline.
Yeah, I remember that. No call. But Jermon McCoy, he's been out a year and a half now. Maybe he's got some load management going on there. I don't know what the deal is. I'm surprised Vol fans aren't a little bit more agitated by that, because there was always talks of him coming back, but I believe he tore his knee up in November.
It was late in the year. I think it might have been the Ohio State game.
So missing this much time isn't surprising, but they really gaslit them into believing that he was going to be back this season.
Well, it worries me about the Quaintance stuff, right? Everyone acts like these ACL injuries, it's like banging your knee. Take a couple weeks off, you'll be fine. Not really. It's not really like that. So yeah, I think obviously like this, if he could play, he's not playing. But it's not just McCoy. Ricky Gibson, their other starting corner,
Right.
has been out for a while now, maybe the whole season. So that's really like you start getting their defensive issues. That's a big part. They haven't had, what was expected to be two of the best corners in the league. They just haven't had really any of them. Yeah, Gibson's only played one game. I guess he got injured week 1. So that's been a big development for them, and their defense is really, really struggling.
This is one time where it's kind of nice to have a Vol fan in the chat, like Tinker, who's saying it was technically the off season that McCoy did his knee. So it's been 9 months. Either way, suck it, Tinker. I hope you lose this week. I hope you have a very, very sad day. Vols fans in particular, they're going through it right now, Mr. Luckett. They spent the last week sweating bullets because their precious Tony Vitello, he was. Don't leave us, Tony. Don't leave us, Tony B.
Well, they're getting Kurt Schilling, so they should just chill out. So
Kurt Schilling and Tennessee, they were made for each other.
He's gonna bring the sock, but he's just gonna paint over it orange. He's gonna wear an orange sock every game, and that's gonna be your manager.
They won't
put
the fur coats on after the home runs. They'll just put a bloody sock on their hand like they're Mick Foley.
Yeah. I will say, big baseball night because the other KOC, or KOS, excuse me, not KOC, Kevin O'Sullivan is out.
Yeah, stepping away from
Vitello is out.
Matters.
So now it's going to look a lot different.
Kevin O'Sullivan, he's had some crazy personal matters in the past. This got to be bad.
I think he might be going to find that guy, Coastal Carolina.
I mean, I don't
He's got unfinished business in Myrtle Beach.
Wild day for SEC baseball. I'm not gonna lie though, I was really glad we had Conference USA, the Q section on last night because I was getting hooked on the playoff baseball. The ALCS was awesome. Some of those divisional series were great. And after the late dingers on Monday night, I was like, what am I going to do? Shout out to Conference USA football. Western Kentucky, the top's on top. They got a block field goal late. They missed a field goal to take the lead with a minute and a half to go. And then down in Ruston, Tech came back, gets their field goal blocked. Tech scores first in overtime. Western had to convert a 4th down. And this quarterback, his last name was Tisdale Jr. And the first time I saw him running, I was like, wait, I thought Vito was at Eastern, not at Western. But they end up scoring, taking and then going for 2, doing the smart thing. You go for 2 at the end of the first overtime, just win the game. They win it, walk it off, and they're 6-2 now, bowl eligible.
Yeah, they've kind of pulled a couple wins just out of their rear this year.
Yeah,
they should win. They're probably the best team in that conference. They should, or they've got a real chance to win it here. So, yeah, that was a very nice win for them on Wednesday night. It's been, we're going to practices and stuff, so the Tuesday, Wednesday are tough, but definitely Maction is a couple weeks away. So,
yeah,
chomping at the bit for that. And I know the sports equinox is going to be in play here in a few days.
Got to be. Because we got the NBA back on NBC. It's what I like to do, Luckett, is just the quad box while you work, and then
yes, like I had it on. I had the Rockets Thunder on last night when I was doing some stuff.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice background noise.
Reed Shepherd didn't look good out there, but long season. They play 1,000 games. They'll be playing until June, so plenty of time to improve, plenty of time to manage your loads in the NBA. But I guess we're here to talk football, and I'm curious. I kind of know everything we need to talk about on this show, but I'm curious where you would like to start on this show.
Well, I would like to start with an update on the light. It's still broken here outside KS Bar. It's going as hard as ever tonight. So someone, City of Lexington, come fix this daggum light for the love of all things.
Can Sir
Parking lot
Pizza
lights.
just knock it down, Sir Pizza? Do something,
Their
anything.
pizza's light. Is it on them? Do I need to go knock on the door?
All right. I don't mean to bash our neighbors at Sir Pizza, but have you ever seen anybody at Sir Pizza? Have you ever known a person to eat Sir Pizza? Uh, how how is that business still open? That businesses come and go all the time. Restaurants come and go all the time in Lexington, and their Sir Pizza is with a strobe light hanging over it, just still operating like everything's fine.
It's all about the overhead. So maybe they just own. Maybe the guy who owns all these buildings, he owns that one and just wants to have his own pizza place, and so it's kept the lights on for so many years because it's just low overhead. But I think to start out, Nick, let's just start here. There are 6 games left.
Yes.
I think rightfully, after the South Carolina game, it looked like a total, like the disaster scenario was in play, like a 3-9 where you just look awful. And then it was made even worse, I think, the Georgia game, how bad the defense looked, really, in most of the games. But there's been, I would say, 2 really performances where I think you could plant your flag. Well, one is layered, but like Cutter Bowley's gotten better with each start.
Yeah. Sans the Eastern Michigan to South Carolina, but since SEC play started, he's improved every single week.
What was that, Nick? His 5th career start on Saturday. So he started Louisville, started Eastern Michigan, South Carolina, Georgia, Texas. His 5th career start.
Yeah.
That was the best performance we've seen from a Kentucky quarterback in an SEC or in a power conference game since probably Leary threw for almost 400 yards against Tennessee in his 5th career start. Like,
pretty good. Without a ton of talent to work with, I would add that too. He
dropped back 50 times against that Texas defense. It kept them in manageable situations. Took some bad sacks. The turnover can't happen. The interception can't take that sack, go, can't take a sack to knock you out of field goal range. So not perfect by any means, but
pretty darn close.
He executed a pair of 2-minute drives.
Yep.
One to tie the game late. He got you on the board really kind of by himself on that drive. To your point, with that, no vertical really threats. It's a lot of dink and duck. It's a lot of getting the ball out fast. Scrambled, led all rushers in that football game in rushing yards. If you take sack yardage out, or even if you don't take sack yardage out, he was tied for the lead. So that's number one. Like, okay, there's something here, at least. There is something here. He's gotten better with each start. We just saw him really kind of carry an offense in an SEC game against a good SEC defense. So there's something there. 2, the defense, they still have it in them. We've seen it. Like, they can play football. They can do some good things. If they tackle well, they'll be able to win put the team in position to win some games. So now they have a trial here where I think, okay, let's see what they can do. Where before I think it was a total disaster, or it could have been a total disaster. Go ahead.
I would just add, while everybody has their eyes on coaching searches, if you look at the other total disasters, Wisconsin's been shut out in back-to-back weeks. Oklahoma State has been pretty pathetic.
I mean, they're just awful.
That's with another.
They're getting blown out every game.
Yeah. But this isn't complete 4-alarm fire. They are fighting. They're showing signs of improvement. Your original point with Cutter, too, is we kind of said a lot of the season is going to be – the onus is going to be on his shoulders. And
yeah, they were going to – like, a lot of this was getting put on him.
Yeah. And so far, he's doing it.
And then my third point, okay,
Mm-hmm.
The Florida and Auburn games just look a lot different now.
Yeah.
They just look a lot different. Now, you never know when a roster is either going to get the interim bump. Like, remember what happened with Auburn with Cadillac a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Like, they played pretty well down the stretch. but you also never know if you're going to get the whammy award collapse like at Louisville, where it's bad and it gets worse. So you don't really know how these interim situations fall. I'll just say this: we're going to talk about this Tennessee game. It's going to be tough. As much as like I talked about last week, kind of being a good matchup for Kentucky because I thought it could play out because Texas plays into Kentucky's strengths. Tennessee does not. Tennessee does what Kentucky's not good at and what Kentucky's not comfortable with. So that's what makes this game, I think, so challenging. But you get past this game. To me, Nick, this is going to come down to, I think, a 3-game stretch. It's at Auburn, Florida at home, Tennessee Tech. You could be 5-5 after this stretch. If he's 5-5, I think Kentucky's probably going to want to run it back. And I think they'll make an announcement before they take a couple losses potentially at the end. That's my read of the situation. Now I know it's like getting bad, and there's been Stoops obviously changed his messaging and all of that, but there's still ball left to be played, and we'll just and if you wanted Stoops to maybe find a landing spot, this would be the best case scenario for them.
That I agree with you wholeheartedly. If he's got to win some games if you want him to just take another job, which could be on the table in a wild coaching search. I'm glad that you noted that, Luckett. I also think that despite what we've seen, that it could also get sideways with an ass whooping this weekend too. Like the odds are just as likely. I honestly, Matt likes to play percentage chance game. I'd put it at 50-50 right now. I don't know what the hell's going to happen, right? There's probably I know the history with Tennessee, and I've seen plenty of those ass beatings over the years. But even if that happens, I mean, that was a talking point all offseason was not quitting. I mean, Brad White at media days just went on this long diatribe about coaching kids to withstand adversity. And you know what? I mean, they crumpled at South Carolina, but they've shown some intestinal fortitude since, and it's just the wins aren't there, but they haven't completely let go of the rope yet. They aren't getting blown out just yet. So,
they look like they were a fragile football team, I thought, in that Georgia game. Now, I think what happened in that Georgia game, I think Cutter Boley good things happened on offense. They didn't score points necessarily.
Yeah.
But McGowan left the game. They couldn't run the ball, and they had to throw the ball to move it at all, and they actually did. So I think that was the first step. And then the second step, I think, was both sides of the football kind of coming together. But unfortunately, the punt coverage essentially let them down in that game. And so we'll see. Now, the kicker with all this, it hasn't been the teams that are ranked that they struggled to play.
Yeah.
It's been the teams like the Auburns and the Floridas is where this has really kind of collapsed on them over these last few years.
And that's why because things could get bad this Saturday, and then you could have the snowball go the other way. But this is kind of where we can get to a launching off point because I know what a lot of people want to talk about is the future and after the season and message board talk, which, if you want to get on the message board talk, fine. We'll talk about it on the message board. There's a lot out there. UK1 will get you on KSR Plus. You can read stuff that Justin Rowland posts. I know that got a lot of people talking today. But there's a lot of variables still and a lot of things up in the air. And I don't want to get the cart too far in front of the horse, even though admittedly it felt like the Texas game was Stoops' kind of last hurrah, like a last chance to deliver fans a feel-good win at home. Obviously you could on Saturday. It's going to be hard to do. Fans love beating Florida. It feels different if they're with an interim coach. It will. Right. It's not gonna hit the same as the first time Texas comes to town. You got a packed house and you win that game. But I just wanted to mention all of that before we get in, kind of shift into the actual football talk, because it's something that I like. My brain, the wires were just all over the place today. But and Bush Hamden didn't get into his specifics, but they've essentially said that they changed the offense since that Georgia game. Like they're
I would say since South Carolina, like the short passing game
yeah.
is just something they've gone all in on.
He essentially
Last
said
two
last 2 or
games.
3 weeks, we've had to change everything up. And it felt like you finally got enough reps in, not only in practice, but with like a comfortability between Hamden and Boley, that they kind of know, all right, this call will work for this. Here's what we're going to do. And it's worked. It's as you said, the short passing game. I mean, they've the way Stoops described it at one point is essentially, or hell, I can't remember. All these people talking, it runs together. They're essentially making their pass game an extension of their running game. And hey, that's kind of nice. A little creativity here. It would just be nice if they would trust that guy to do that down in the red zone, because that's, I mean, if he's going to get you down there, dude, just let him finish it off. It's a better chance than giving the ball to Dante Dowdell.
Yeah, I would say definitely against that Texas front,
Right.
or against some better fronts. But yeah, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, Nick, they're just turning it over to Cutter Boley. Like, it's an all-in movement with him right now. So we'll see where that can lead them.
Really think it's hilarious that Sir Pizza has just turned into a huge conversation piece in the chat.
That's why it's still alive. It just gets the people going.
I was not aware of your game, Sir Pizza. It's the Shaq meme. I'm sorry, Sir Pizza. I was totally unaware of your game.
We might have to do a podcast at Sir Pizza if this keeps up.
I don't know if they're
podcast friendly.
Yeah. I do like that some guy said, so we're going to go get drunk at KS Bar and then order from Sir Pizza Saturday night? Sounds good to me.
Oh, we might have to swing by Sir Pizza on our way home from the stadium. There's nothing open when we leave. I was wanting to get something to eat on the drive home. I was like, what am I going to even get? Go to Waffle House, I guess.
Man,
but yeah.
There's going to be some Vol fans up here Saturday too. Like it. I don't like that. Keeneland and then the game.
Yeah. One, Nick, I'll say this. It was a good crowd Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's for Kentucky, it's almost inexcusable in the lay of the land that we are. That game's not sold out to get you as much revenue as you can. That's a game you got to sell out.
Well, that's where we're at.
And you had, what would you say, percent? It was kind of what I expected. I thought Texas would have a good crowd. I didn't think it would be overwhelming.
Right. Which
it
is
was
kind
a
of
good
what
Texas. It was weird because you could tell that a lot of people didn't buy tickets through Texas. They bought them third party. So it's a lot of, I would say, people that are Texas fans that lived in Cincinnati, or the dude we went to high school with who decided I'm going to be a Texas fan because I like Vince Young.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's never even been to the Lone Star State.
I bought a Texas hat when I was in middle school.
Yeah, everyone had the burnt orange Texas hat, the fitted hats from Zephyr or whatever the hat.
Yeah, I think I got mine at maybe Champ Sports or maybe Lids or something like that.
Yeah, so
one of those stores in the mall.
So they're a bandwagon fan base. Like they got a lot of people jump on the wagon. Where this week is going to be a little different. So I'll be interested to see what it looks like. And if Kentucky has as big of a turnout, it's going to be colder for this game. I believe kickoff temperatures about 51, 52, 53 degrees.
Ooh, that sounds like football weather.
So
you know what's nice too, though, like it, is if you use promo code KSR on the Game Time app, you can still get ticket prices lower than that temperature. Because when you use the promo code KSR, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. And right now, I'm seeing tickets for this game, $59, $62, $57 will get you in the door. And that's all fees included too. That's my favorite part about Game Time is it includes all your fees. They're not going to, look at this great deal I got. Actually, it's $30 more. No. That's not the case with Game Time. It's all-inclusive pricing. And they've got zone deals to get you the best deal whenever you need to shop tickets for your favorite college football game, college basketball. We talked about the Sports Equinox coming up. They've got all your sporting needs. We got the number one team in the country coming to Rupp Arena Friday, Mr. Luckett, and this is a pretty tough ticket. I gotta. There's one deal here for $85 near the media section, so maybe Zach can sell his seat for $85. Couple 89s out there, but it is it's a tough ticket. Kentucky versus Purdue exhibition. So exhibition games, concerts, comedy shows, sporting events, whatever it may be, Game Time has got you covered. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. And once again, first-time users, $20 off with promo code ON3. I see. I always mix that up. My bad. Terms apply. $20 off. First-time users. Promo code ON3.
Yeah, and I just think there's going to be probably more Tennessee fans than Texas fans. It'll be a more rowdy bunch.
Well, and I think a lot of them do it too because they feel confident they're going to get a road win. So getting all right. Well, we can make the drive up. It's kind of like when Kentucky plays in Nashville, and you're like, it'll be a good time, and we'll see the Cats win. Not necessarily the case this year, but that's the mindset. But I mean, do Tennessee fans think anything's a given? I think some folks are a little fed up with old Heupel. I know our friend SEC Mike is a little tired of big game Heupel because that is. We are not one to talk because I think we would do a lot of things to have an offense like that in Lexington. But is he getting that? Not necessarily James Franklin, but maybe a little bit of James Franklin in him, right?
The 2 Bama wins at home are doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Because outside of that, I mean, he hadn't beat Georgia.
Now, they did win at Death Valley, the 22 year. So I guess you take the 22 year out, then that would be – I think the problem is they've gotten – sorry for the Vols in the chat. They've gotten blasted. I told you the trend. That was part of the reason I bet Bama last week. They just get on the road in these games. They get blasted. Who is that on? Is it on Heupel on the offense? Is it on the defense? I think the argument would be if you play that style and you're good at it, that style is great at beating teams that are worse than you. And you're not really susceptible to upsets for the most part, which is why this Kentucky series has felt like so disastrous for Kentucky. But it doesn't get them in many close games with teams that are better than them. Where, the way, obviously they don't want Stoops ball, but in the Stoops ball kind of mold, you can teams that are better than you, you can keep them in close games and you have a chance to win them in the fourth quarter. But again, when you play like Stoops ball, when you play this conservative style, you're more, I think, susceptible to getting beat by teams that you're better than. Where I think when you play Tennessee style, they're housing the teams they're better than. And there's something to be said for that, but there's also, for the most part, it makes it hard. Like there's pros and cons with everything. It makes it harder to beat, I would say, the best teams. I think that's something they're just going through, and it's just hard to beat playoff teams on the road. like at the end of the day, it's just so so they're just hitting. I feel like he's hitting. I think the frustration would be that they're hitting a hard ceiling, but hell, they had this great schedule. They're probably going to go 10-2, 9-3.
Well, they've only got enough wiggle room for one more loss if they want to try to get into the playoff at 9-3. And that double-edged sword you mentioned, Luckett, it's very similar to their quarterback. He is that double-edged sword as well. He's got an interception in 2 of his last 3 games. He's had multiple interceptions thrown. He's got. Sorry, I'm reading. That was sacks. Damn it! I got the wrong stat I'm looking at. Yeah, no, I was right. It was 4 out of the last 5 games he's thrown a pick, and he's got 1 2-pick game in there, and that was in the overtime loss to Georgia. That's kind of Aguilar's thing, right? It's the Here we're going to hit you over the head with some big plays, but also here's the ball on the 40 our own 40-yard line. Please don't kill us with this turnover. And teams usually have. I think that's if you look at the other side of the line of scrimmage with Kentucky, that's been their biggest issue is not always taking most advantage of those turnovers when they have been fewer and farther in between. But it's live by the sword, die by the sword with Aguilar. I will say one nice thing about Tennessee. My biggest question going into this year was just who? Really? Chris Brazzell is going to be the guy? He couldn't do anything last year. Oh, it turns out Chris Brazzell, the guy, he turned into something. I mean, so you kind of got to tip your cap to the guy. He's been awesome for him, man. And that is a tough matchup. Kentucky's corners, it's been a little dicey. DJ Waller suffered a setback. Mark Stoops got incredibly candid with that Waller injury too, more so than he normally does. It's like, there's a spot there. We don't know if it's a new or re-aggravated, but Waller's probably just done for the year, if I were to guess. So, yeah, you're going to have receivers running up and down the field all day on your cornerbacks that up until last week had given up a ton of big plays. So, please don't get killed by them, Kentucky, but I have a bad feeling they will. The key is just making sure that you are forcing those turnovers too and that you're opportunistic about it.
Yeah, Joey Aguilar, like kind of my feeling when I watched him, and then kind of I think his reputation was, really good vertical deep ball thrower, and we've seen that show up. Where I think Tennessee has struggled with that since Hooker left. He's unlocked that for them, and I think you see it in some of the receiving numbers. Brazzell's on pace for 1,000 yards. Braylon Staley, I believe, is on pace for 800, 900. Mike Matthews is on pace for 700. The tight end, Miles Kitselman, has as many receptions through 7 games that he had all of last year. So he's unlocked their passing game in a lot of ways. But the turnovers are a big deal. He had 24 interceptions and 21 fumbles in 2 years as a starter at App State. He's had 6 interceptions and a couple fumbles, or 6 interceptions and 4 fumbles, so 10 turnovers essentially, or 10 potential turnovers through 7 games, Nick. He's thrown 6 interceptions through 7 games. No Josh Heupel quarterback at Tennessee has thrown more than 5 in a single year. He's already eclipsed that number. Since Heupel's been a head coach, 7 interceptions is the highest anyone's ever thrown in a single season. He's probably going to eclipse that number with games to spare, I would say, at this current pace. So he will turn the football over, but you've got to make them, I think, count if you're Kentucky. Kentucky doesn't have an interception against the Josh Heupel offense.
Oh, I was to say they have this year. They haven't recovered a fumble this year either, right? Which is just insane.
So the crazy thing about the Georgia and losses, where you felt like Kentucky should have won both those games, Kentucky was last year. Kentucky was -1 against Georgia and -1 against Texas in the turnover column.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even in their best, they didn't win the turnover margin. Where if they win at either of them, they probably win the game. So for Kentucky, you've got to find a way, I think, to win that, to pressure Aguilar, get some fumbles. And then, Nick, you just have – I'm going to make bold take. Stephen A. Smith this, Mike Mad Dog it. The 2 touchdowns or less streak ends on Saturday night, and it ends before the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Kentucky scores 3 offensive touchdowns on Saturday. This is when it ends because they're finally getting a bad defense. I think Tennessee might be probably the worst defense they've played in that stretch, and I think they get it done.
I was looking at it too, Luckett. Bush is going to try to beat him in a shootout. I think that's what they're going to try to do. I mean, they tried to do that against Ole Miss, and hell, it was a game in the fourth quarter, so they're probably thinking, man, now we got a better quarterback and an offense that kind of has some flow to it, kind of knows what it wants to do, how it wants to move the ball. I'm with you, man. I think they're going to break that streak. Now, I don't know what Stephen Peake's mind is going to be like when that happens. But the bigger question Because that, like, I maybe there's probably some people being like, guys, are you all crazy? Kentucky doesn't score 2 touchdowns in a game. What are you talking about? I think a lot of what they've shown against the best defenses in America shows that they're going to break some of these scores, right? Like some of these passes where they're getting tackled after 6 yards, they'll break a tackle. It'll be a longer play. And I also hope that they've watched enough film to realize that, hey, we can't just run it up the middle in short yardage situations. We got to be a little bit more creative. We just have to. They're not good enough.
It's mostly a play that Tennessee's defense is bad.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
And Kentucky has competent and growing at the quarterback position, I would say.
Yeah.
So I just think
when you look at the game on paper and you see the Vols, all the purple on their statistics, it's wow. They you had it in the bio blast man, and I pulled that page.
I have it up. What do you need?
There was the thing about they were like 136th, and it was that it was those few points. And I know their second sacks, and Stoops is going to tell you how great their defense is. And now Kevin, what's the coordinator?
Tim Banks. They play a style that's the MO. 4 down, defensive linemen get upfield, penetrate, knife through gaps, search for tackles for loss, but that can lead to bust. And their linebackers typically are playing downhill. So if you get them on play action fakes, you can sneak behind them. And then they try to play their safeties back as much as possible. But if you run the ball well, you can get a safety in the box. And then I think you can really open up some stuff in the passing game. But they are 89th in points per drive allowed. They are 107th in 20-plus yard plays allowed. They are 115th in defensive success rate. They are 119th in defensive EPA per play. They are 135th, Nick, in red zone touchdown percentage allowed. There's only 136 teams in college football, FBS college football. So they've got some bad defensive numbers this year. And I think you look at Kentucky, I think Kentucky will be able to run the football some against them. And if Cutter Boley has a similar performance to last week, I just think that's going to lead them to scoring. Now, can Kentucky stop them enough to win the game? I have my doubts, but I think Kentucky's offense is going to score some points in this game.
That's really what it comes down to is Brad White's pretty good at his job. He hasn't figured this out at all.
And their biggest issue right now, I think, is coverage on the outside. Just play on the outside in general, but coverage has not been good.
No.
All year. And Tennessee is rolling with these receivers and with Aguilar. So, to me, it's a thing where whenever Tennessee drops back, if you don't get pressure on him, I think it's just going to be tough. I think these guys are going to get open. It's just how much do they burn you? And can you not – I say this all the time with Tennessee. You cannot let what happened in 21 and 22 happen, even 23. Well, you cannot give them the 50-yard bombs. Like, if they're going to gain 30, 40 yards, that's fine. But don't give them the big bombs or the cheap ones. But I'm worried, like, you're in space so much, and if you missed it, like Kentucky, the tackling, like, there's just a lot to be concerned about, I think, with this matchup with this Tennessee offense, which is rolling. Like, it looks like more like Heupel's first 2 offenses than the last 2 did.
The thing that makes it so difficult is that Kentucky's been at its best when they just pressure the quarterback, right? I mean, that's really been the key to their success defensively this year. It's hard to get pressure when the quarterback is getting rid of the ball so quickly, or when they're running tempo and it takes some time to set up those pressures.
Well, the play action with Tennessee, like, they're running tempo. They do the play action stuff. You've got to stop run first. And it's like, it's a pass. Like, they just really put you in some binds, and they take advantage of the college rules, I think, really well. They're just hard to stop. Like, basically, you just got, like, Brad White and Mark Stoops are right when they say it. We're going to be in space, and you just got to win one-on-one. And it's not necessarily the corners, like, you just need a defensive tackle to just kind of mollywop an offensive guard every once in a while. And you got to be able to beat a double team. And when you do get pressure, you got to get Aguilar on the ground.
Or force turnover-worthy plays.
Yeah, and these are all things that I don't think Kentucky's necessarily been great at, really. I think they will get some pressure with their front, but I worry about the back end in this game. Where Texas really didn't, I would say, challenge them in a lot of ways, Tennessee will. And that's, I think, ultimately probably the biggest concern in this game. And, Nick, this team always plays well in that stadium. I don't know what it is. They are 10-1 against the spread in their last 11. The only cover was when Kentucky won outright in 11 as a 6-point dog in 2011 when they needed, Matt Rourke and for Tyler Bright to play absolutely awful. It just doesn't – it's the damnedest thing. They play so well in this stadium.
I mean, for the one DB to talk smack ahead of the game and then get the pick six in 21. Gosh, what was his name?
Volante Taylor, he's with the Saints right now.
God, yeah, I remember him getting drafted by the Saints. That hurt. That hurt a lot.
It's not just even like 2019. No one could figure out the Bowden offense at the end of the year, really.
Yeah, except
and they were the defense that figured it out. Like the Jeremy Pruitt, like they played good defense for 4 games, and that was the stretch. Kentucky.
Daniel Batuli had 17 tackles in that game. Him and that safety, I think, combined for 34 tackles or something. It was
Nigel Warrior, I think.
Yeah, Nigel Warrior.
So it's just – and then 21, like Kentucky just – I mean, they moved the ball all over them all game, and that they didn't win that game is just crazy. Even in 23, Devin Leary almost threw for 400 yards, and they still couldn't win the game. It's just head-scratching. But you've got – like you almost have to accept that going in the game. Well, Tennessee's probably going to play one their better games of the year. That's typically how this goes. So where can Kentucky be if they do that? That's kind of how you have to look at it. It's weird because when they've played in Knoxville, Tennessee, I don't necessarily think has played all that great.
Right. Except for the 2018 game when the Cats came out flat, didn't have Darius West. They get that Hail Mary before halftime. One of their worst teams in a long time beats one of Kentucky's best teams.
It's kind of that series in a nutshell. And in both, Stoops has covered twice in 12 meetings against Tennessee. Both of them were on the road. 2020 when they won outright, and then last year when they covered. I think they were an 18-point dog, and they lost by 10.
Well, and last year was one of those games, too, that you have a 4-minute drive right before half, get inside the red zone, can't score a touchdown, but you're winning 10-7. Stop me if you've heard that before. Kentucky actually does something good, but they can't finish the drive with a touchdown with points. And then Vandegrift ends up getting hurt. It's a one-score game. Were they down 10 when Wimsatt threw the pick six? Was it a
No, it was – they were –
It might have been a 3-point game.
I think it was 21-18, and it was either the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
No, it was not 20 because they came back and scored after that. I think it was 10-14. I think Tennessee took the lead 14-10. I think Kentucky was driving.
Yeah. Could take the lead with a touchdown or get it within one with a field goal. And all Gavin Wimsatt had to do was not throw the ball on third down.
Right. If you score a touchdown there, no matter what happened, Kentucky was going to get the ball in the fourth quarter with a chance to win the game.
Yeah. It told them, hey, it's 3rd and 6. Do not throw the ball. Pick six. Tennessee runs away with the win. That's the kind of sadness that you should expect. Luckett, do you have a personal least favorite in this series? I have one in mind that it made me learn how to hate Tennessee.
It was 14-10, Nick, 1 minute left in the third quarter when that interception occurred.
Yeah. But do you got one game in particular that pisses you off more than others?
09.
Randall Cobb down at the goal line.
Yeah, because it was on the heels of the 07 game. They fired Fulmer. They were just okay to solid that year with Kiffin's only season.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky got hot down the stretch, really kind of found something you felt like. They win that game, they're going to the Outback Bowl. You get a pick six to start it off with Sam Maxwell, and then you have a chance to just go win it there. And then it came off where you lost in 07 in overtime basically because of kicker, right? So then
Yeah.
why are you playing to the same kicker in the same situation? That one was that's the one.
You were at UK too for that.
I was at UK. That one was really, really, really frustrating.
Yeah, mine was the 07. I had pretty good seats. It was cold. It was very, very cold.
It was cold that day. Yep, I was at that game too.
But my seats were close to the Tennessee band, and having to hear the woo in that game. I mean, I think the final was something like 48-39 or something.
It was 52-50.
Yeah.
Overtime game.
Overtime palooza. And so we had a deal set up where one of my buddies, they had handicap section seats where it was down in the front row of the end zone because his grandpa was down there in a wheelchair. And so we would rotate who got to go down there. Well, right before Wonus lines up to kick. I mean, this is to cap off in my mind, the perfect season, right? Because you keep Tennessee out of the SEC championship game. You get a third signature win. You snap the streak, a third field storm, probably an Outback Bowl, right?
You started Louisville was absolutely rolling, and you beating them started like a catastrophe.
Yeah, and then you knock off the number one team in the country. The injuries happen, but this would have been a great, the ShamWow sort of guy at the end of the year. That's like, this isn't a 7-5. This really is the best season of your life. We're gonna go celebrate it. Well, it wasn't my turn to alternate on who got to be in the handicap section, but it was getting ready to be the game-winning field goal. So I go down there, join my buddies, and the blue coat says, "Nah, kid, you got to go. You got to get out of here." And he's like escorting me out, and then the field goal gets blocked. And I'm like, "This is your fault. You're the reason we'll never beat this team. What is your problem?" I was devastated. I was wrecked. I was wearing, those little those like kids costumes with the helmets, like the plastic helmets and stuff.
Yes.
I didn't wear a toboggan. I just wore one of those plastic helmets. And afterwards we went to.
He probably thought you were not a sane person.
Oh, yeah. 16-year-old crazy teenager wearing a plastic helmet. Afterwards, Kentucky played at Rupp that night, and we had tickets to that game. It was against, East Southwestern Louisiana State University. And the wind had been blowing so hard, the little plastic face mask had left a wind burn. Like I was like wind burnt everywhere except for where the stupid face mask covered me.
Yeah, I think just 07 and 09, it felt like they should have won both of them. And then like Sam Maxwell, who got the pick in overtime to set up the block field goal in 07, he got the pick in the first possession. So you were just like, this is it.
This is going to happen.
The stars are aligning here. We're going to win, and we're going to rush the field, and it's going to be this great moment. And
which isn't
it happened.
It's kind of funny how that worked out, where you kept thinking it was going to happen, and then the one you didn't expect it did.
Well, the team that was cool that they won that. And like for me personally, that was like the last game my grandpa went to. I mean, he was this long season ticket holder, so he got to go to that game. But it was that team didn't deserve to end the streak. It was those other two teams deserved it way more, especially Cobb being like the Knoxville kid.
Yeah, yeah, Alcoa.
Right, it was like the Lofton trade. Like you all got Chris Lofton, we got Randall Cobb, and now Randall Cobb's gonna win this game. And that's the one. That's the one I always think of and go to.
But it is funny though how like the Florida series is similar, where you had a couple of games where Kentucky was just close, and you felt like this is going to happen. Why hasn't this happened? And then 17 was 17 was the year when they had the holding penalty that wasn't a hold that took him out of field goal range.
Yeah, on Nick Haynes. Yeah, that was a bad call. Yeah.
And man, I'll never forget. Like, shout out to that kid for doing post-game interviews. I felt bad for him. And then hell, he couldn't really play after that. He got type 1 diabetes or type 1 of the diabetes and lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, no one really the whole conversation of that game though was really about them not covering receivers. That was like a running joke in college football Twitterverse for 2-3 years after that.
And then next year, They go away from home, get it done. But then in 19 too, that was a game where the Sawyer Smith game where he's playing well until that. I think he was perfect, like 11 of 11, and then hurts his elbow on, was it a pick six trying to tackle him?
His shoulder. I think Kentucky had the lead. They had a drive coming out of half. Like if they scored there, you almost felt like the game was over with the way Kentucky was running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, if they score a touchdown, he throws an interception and it hurts his shoulder. Trying to make the tackle, and Florida goes down and scores, and then really Kentucky, I don't think, is really ever back in it until the kind of end there. So yeah, that was highly, highly disappointing how they lost that game.
Love this from TJ in the chat. If Randall Cobb, Lynn Bowden, and Wandale Robinson played for Kentucky at the same time, we would have won a championship. Hey, I don't know what it would have looked like with those three guys who seemingly all play the same position. I just put Bowden at running back, Cobb at quarterback, and Wandale at receiver. Just let them go.
And all three of them in their big years played Tennessee at home and lost just an absolute heartbreaker. Two Tennessee teams, Nick, all of them. That 21 Wandale team, that Tennessee team went 7-5. The Lynn Bowden team was the Jeremy Pruitt team. The Randall Cobb team was, I think, Lane Kiffin 7-5. So it's not like they lost to like these special Tennessee teams.
Yeah.
It's just a way. It's just.
I mean, we are just giving VolQuest right now. They're just eating this up, right?
Yeah,
they
just
look at these clowns. They're just talking about all their heartbreaks against us. They
just own Kentucky. It's just the damnedest thing. It feels like, I don't know. What do you need? Like, that's the real, I think, question. Like, and it's a big kind of picture philosophy question. All right, there's obviously a cloud and there's ghost with this. What do you need to do to get the cloud out here and get the ghost to leave you alone? Like, what needs to happen for that to occur? That is the big question.
Well, and here is just in the here and now. Mark Stoops couldn't do that with a win on Saturday, and it would make people feel so weird if that happens, because it's not like I do think it's a very, very, very small minority who's, I want Stoops to lose every game and get out of here. I think that's a small minority of the fan base, but it will feel weird when it's almost like he's sailing off into the sunset, but yet he's going to beat this Tennessee team that he hasn't been able to beat the whole time. It'll make people feel very conflicted, very happy, because it can't, and that would actually be like the way everything we've talked to you about this series. Kentucky's winning on Saturday, isn't it? I mean, we just
in the stupidest way possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's only the dumb games where Jarrett Garantano just throws you the ball a bunch of times and you go run for some touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Peak brings up good points on this. Like, the two times Kentucky has beat them in our lifetime.
Three.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, duly.
Three times. Okay. The last time, Butch Jones was 0-8 in the league, and Kentucky needed like an heroic 2-minute drive from their injured quarterback. And that game unofficially got Butch Jones fired.
Yeah.
Jeremy Pruitt, like, they had a lot of buzz going in that year. That was the loss that just kind of totally unraveled them. And then the McDonald's cash bags came out.
Yeah.
And then 2011
under the bus.
And then 2011, that was unofficially the game they got. Now, Dooley got fired the next year, right before the Kentucky game in 2012. But that was unofficially the end for him, Tennessee. So, like, not only are they – so when they have won, they really have beaten Tennessee when they are really down. It's just, like, why can't you just beat, like, a middling Tennessee team? Like, what does it take to do that?
In a normal game, in a normal football game. So
the Matt Rourke game was just like he had, it was a weird 10-7 game, and then the one in Knoxville was Kentucky didn't really play well at all on offense. It was just a interception fest for Tennessee on defense. It was kind of like the Kentucky South Carolina game this year, where Kentucky just got a couple defensive touchdowns, and then it was like it'll take us 15 quarters to catch up. Even if they don't get a first down on offense. And then the 2017 was probably the most normal game out of all of them, but it was such a bad Tennessee team.
Yeah.
And then like Kentucky fans leaving the stadium weren't even that excited. It was like, because you felt like, all right, this might be the time we really poured on Tennessee. And it can't even happen then.
And then, but to answer your original question about the ghosts, I don't know if it's ever going to leave unless there is a new coach that comes in here who brings a lot of offensive firepower because as long as Heupel's going to be there, they're going to have a good offense. And I know it didn't necessarily work out with Tim Couch in the air raid going shot for shot with him. But right now we're getting drank under the table in the battle for the beer barrel. And unless somebody gets knocked out early and something weird happens, these ghosts aren't going away anytime soon. And it sucks. I hate it. I hate it very, very much. I hate it a lot. I don't like Tennessee. I don't like their fans. You guys on the chat, you're fine enough. But it just – I still remember we went on a hiking trip. One of my roommates, his mother lived in it was technically North Carolina, but we stopped at a Walmart in Johnson City to pick up some supplies before we were going to go in the woods for the weekend. And I just remember seeing all of this orange all over the place. And then I saw one pretty girl coming around the corner. It's like, oh, well, she isn't that bad. But then I realized she wears that disgusting orange just like the rest of them. It's just filthy, good for nothing, disgusting humans that cheer for those stupid Vols. And I want them to lose every game, Luckett. I want them to lose every game. I want it to happen on Saturday night so badly. Unfortunately, I don't think my prayers are going to be.
No, again, I think styles make fights. For Kentucky to win this game, they're going to have to score points and they're going to have to get turnovers. Now, they've scored on this Tennessee defense, actually. Even Tennessee's really good defense last year, Kentucky had some offensive success, more than they really had against most teams. But the defense just hasn't been, that last year was their best defensive performance. But other than that, the defense just hasn't been good enough to win this game. And so we'll see if that changes on Saturday. But back to my original point, I really do think like this game, we'll see what happens and we'll see how people react and just what it looks like. Because you're right, they really can't afford to just get totally
house. Then you're back on shaky ground. Right. But you can't lose any of the goodwill you built up.
It's setting up to be like, okay, we're going to know. Like the Auburn and Florida games are going to tell us, to my opinion, like where we are and where we're going, what's alive and what's not alive. And so we're trying to get to that point now, but this one, we'll see. See what they can do. They surprised people last week with what they did at Texas. Can they get off the mat here and make this a game and have a chance in the fourth quarter?
Before we go, it's Q-Zip season. I've been rocking my Roback Q-Zip all day, all night. It's actually kind of an issue. I can't let people see me wearing the same thing all the time, but it's so comfortable. Make sure you get one of their Q-Zips or hoodies from Roback, RHOBACK.com. Promo code KSR will get you $20 off your first purchase at Roback. The best gear at the business. Make sure you've got it ready for game day. One chatter has reminded me that Tennessee has Nate Ament this year. Totally forgot about that guy existing. We know Rick Barnes, great track record with freshmen. Is Jordan Bone his last good freshman? Or was that guy a sophomore the year he was good?
No, he had I think the Chandler kid, the point guard.
Okay, so I'm getting my point guards mixed up. It was Chandler that was the point guard, that was the freshman?
Yeah.
Because him and Bone were on the same team, right?
No, they were a couple years off.
Okay.
Bone was on the early Barnes teams where Chandler was on the team that beat Oscar in that SEC tournament that one year before the loss to St. Peter's.
Yeah, that's great times.
Didn't they just have a kid from Kentucky too that was a freshman and that was good? Or am I making that up?
Scotty Hobson.
Not Scotty Hobson, someone else. Going, got old Kim Palm.
Kid from Kentucky.
I thought they had a kid from Kentucky. Maybe I'm just making that up.
I feel like we were
Justin
not-
Powell. Justin Powell.
No, you're making that's not a real person.
The kid that played in Odom County went to Auburn first and then went to Tennessee was like this big recruit.
Yeah,
Or South Odom or whatever. One of the
but
Odoms.
he wasn't good though.
Yeah, but he was a bigger recruit. He was like a top 50 recruit. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah. He like transferred in from Auburn and didn't do anything when he was at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to beat them in basketball this year. It's going to happen. They're not going to be any good. Really need them to start spiraling because Rick Barnes, didn't they just give him a lifetime contract too?
Yeah, that always works out.
Yeah, great job. Great job, guys. Got any parting thoughts, words for us? I don't know. We're going to predict all the games tomorrow. I think Kentucky will get 20 points probably.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at like 35-24.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm sitting. A lot of talk, Nick, about in-season firing.
Yeah, no.
Don't think that's going to happen. I think
one,
the team is – I think if you got blasted in both these home games or if you lost to Tennessee Tech, then maybe that's the scenario. But I just don't see that happening. The team's still playing hard.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
And what coaches really do, you know.
I know a lot of people want to talk potential candidates. There are two out there, and you know who they are.
And here's the other thing too, Luckett. If we get to a coaching search, I don't think it's getting past those two. So, like, I feel like it's kind of wasteful to just spend energy talking about hypothetical people that it is just not – like, it's fun. It's fun
you
to
have to
see world.
Right.
But, I just – as
of now, yes, but you never know what's going to happen with the playoff, what teams are still playing.
It's true.
Or what jobs open and what high, like Penn State, Florida are big jobs that can cause like a domino effect.
Yeah,
that can
with
take
a bunch
Canada.
of moving parts. True.
So you don't know, but as of right now, I agree with that. So but if that one of them comes off or both of them comes off, then it becomes a situation where it's probably a Mitch hire the pass where he hires someone that's not really on the board because that's what he's done a lot. But that's where we are. I do want to say Kentucky, this is weird. It's going to sound weird because this is such a big market. All these teams need coaches. There's not going to be enough qualified coaches, but Kentucky's weirdly in a position right now, I think, with Summerall and Will Stein, where Summerall, Nick, played here, G8 here, coached here, has relationships here.
I think that's a very big, important one. Look at the relationships one with boosters who are big fans of his. A lot of financial support.
Where Kentucky's just they are going to be a serious player for him if it comes up. And I'm not going to say they're going to get him, but they are going to be a serious player to land him.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one is Will Stein has produced 3 consecutive top 5 offenses at Oregon. 10 years ago, he's getting hired at a really good job.
Yeah.
It's different now because everyone is just, in my opinion, everyone's overvaluing the head coach experience. And so that's like a prerequisite for all these jobs you read. Like, we've got to get someone with head coaching experience. We've got to get someone with head coaching experience.
So, one, I don't like that because it's almost like if you become a kicker, then even if you suck in the NFL, you get hired again. It just makes it very incestuous. Why do you think that now they're not so open to coordinators? Is it just because they feel like they don't want to give anybody a chance to learn on the job? Like, it's like you got to win now, so you have to know now.
Yes, that's part. Yes, there's growing pains you have to do with that job. And there's also there's so much that goes on. You want someone with experience building a roster, with managing games, everything that goes into that. So I think the schools that are actually willing to hire coaches without that, they're actually going to the checkout line with some value. because
Yeah.
they're getting guys, I think, in a previous kind of structure that wouldn't be available to them. So I think that's potentially a really good thing. I think if Kentucky, is got the old they're at the coaching carousel, Martin, they got the grocery cart, and they're looking for
Well, good news.
someone to bring home.
Get out the Kroger cart.
Get out the Kroger cart. So that's where I think everything is right now. But again, they're going to need a negotiation to move on. Period. Those things take time. Even if
it's not even Halloween, brothers. We got plenty of time.
I know what the messaging was after the game, what everyone felt, and what everyone took away from that. But even that's going to take some time figuring out what works best for both parties, if that's the direction this goes.
We will have to wait and see. Kentucky, Tennessee. They get the late night SEC Network special with Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubick on the call Saturday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on the SEC Network. Hopefully something crazy happens. We get a Halloween voodoo magic, and the Cats win the beer barrel. For Adam Luckett, I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.